Stand your ground law. Okay, number one, the jury was not informed that a self-defense defense. Hey, Richard, come on in. Sit down. Grab a chair and have a seat. We are on the air, but this is your time, so if you don't mind. Richard Fowler is with us, host of the Richard Fowler Show, and I've got the information right here, don't I? There you go.
How are you, Tom?
FowlerShow.com. Hey, Richard, how are you?
Good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
Get the clutter out of the shot here.
You're totally fine. Sorry I was late. You know, traffic is horrible in the district these days.
Yes.
Why we need transportation funding, but that's another story
absolutely.
for another day.
Yep. Although the Metro does pretty good. But anyhow, the Richard Fowler Show, you're an African-American host of one of the youngest progressive talk show host in the country, I believe.
That is correct.
Okay, and nationally syndicated.
Hopefully somebody beats us to that punch. But, I got to tell you, I think this decision, the decision that came down this weekend by this jury was devastating. And I think beyond just that decision, I think even how the media handled it, there's so many pieces to it, right? Like, I think if you look at the press conference that both of those lawyers gave, and then, the whole ideal of, oh, please act peacefully. Like, they expected African Americans not to act peacefully. I mean, no matter what happens, at the end of the day, this is definitely an attack on, African American justice all across the country.
There are a bunch of racist assumptions built into a lot of this stuff, including the please calm down. Although, let's back up a little bit. To the technical stuff. In the state of Florida, you cannot use a self-defense claim unless you can demonstrate that. Or here's the phrase: that the person who initially provoked the use of force, unless he either withdraws from the conflict and conveys the withdrawal to the other party, or uses reasonable escape options to avoid death or great bodily harm. Number one, that was Don West requested that the jury not be told that. And the judge went along with that.
Of course he did. And I think he's part. I mean, there's so many pieces to this, Tom. I think the prosecution didn't do as much as they should have done. The defense, clearly, they played this thing up. They played this game. Like I don't understand how a 17-year-old can be armed with a piece of concrete.
Right.
But I think beyond that, I think there's nothing we really can do about this decision. The decision's already been made. So I think now, as a movement, it's time for us to figure out what's next. And I'm hopeful. I got to tell you, yesterday I was on a call with some of my friends who does the Impact DC, which is a nonprofit organization that works on mobilizing young professionals, and they had 2,000 young people from all across the country who called in saying they demand justice for Trayvon. We saw them shut down the Freeway 10 in LA. We saw them, in Columbia Heights on U Street here in the District of Columbia.
What does
Times
justice
Square.
for Trayvon look like?
I really think it's a lot of things. I think the first thing is we have to fight back against ALEC, the American Legislative Exchange Council, and we know that these laws are an affront to justice.
Yeah,
and they're an affront to liberty.
If I may, just very quickly, the old Florida law said the defendant cannot justify the use of force to cause death or great bodily harm unless he used every reasonable means within his power and consistent with his own safety to avoid the danger before resorting to that force. The fact that the defendant was wrongfully attacked cannot justify his use of force likely to cause death or great bodily harm if by retreating he could have avoided the need to use that force. That's what back before 2005 would have been read to the jury. In other words, if you're in a situation where force can be used and you don't avoid that at all costs, you bear responsibility for that force. Instead, post stand your ground law, this is the jury instruction that was read instead of what I just read you, which is the old jury instruction from Florida. If George Zimmerman was not engaged in unlawful activity and was attacked in any place where he had a right to be, he had no duty to retreat and had the right to stand his ground and meet force with force, including deadly force. That was the instruction that was given to the jury because the Koch brothers and ALEC got this stand your ground law passed.
Oh, yeah. I got to tell you, I think this stand your ground law, and I'm famous for saying this, that, it's really a law made for pale, stale, and male people. No offense, Tom, I love you. But
that's quite right. I acknowledge all three of those things.
But, it's a law where it's basically says it's legal for you to shoot an African-American male and say, oh, I was standing my ground. This is not the first time. Trayvon's not the first time. Right now in Florida, there's a Davis case where these two individuals listened to music in the car. This individual got out of his car and shot him in the car and then drove off and said, oh, nothing is wrong. And he's claiming...
White guy shot him.
Yeah, the same stand your ground law. Yeah. And every time, if you look at all the instances where the stand your ground law was used in this country, it's been used by Caucasian men in a situation where they're fighting against brown or black individuals. So it makes, and my mom said it best when I talked to her yesterday, and she said, it really makes me, and she has two boys, me and my older brother, and she said, it really makes me scared that I have two black men in this country. What do I tell you guys? What is it safe for you to do? Right. And in America that we fought so hard for all these freedoms and for all these rights, and African Americans shed blood just along with white folks in every war that we've had in this country, to now know that our justice is less than somebody else's justice, and there's no equal protection for a 17-year-old boy who decides to go to the 7-Eleven. It's a downright a shame. The
headline from the Mail Online, the UK newspaper: white people who kill black people in, quote, stand your ground, end quote, states are 354% more likely to be cleared of murder. It's a license to kill.
It is. An absolute license to kill. And the people that out there are celebrating, the people that have given George Zimmerman over $500,000 for his legal defense fund, they're part of the problem in this country, because it's not about, don't get me wrong, the Constitution says you have the right to bear arms, that's fine. Just don't use your arms to shoot an innocent young man who was going to 7-Eleven.
Especially because of his color.
Exactly. And he was one of the, like George Zimmerman said, they always get away with it. These guys always get away with it.
Right.
And I think, it has everything to do with profiling in this country. And I really do believe, and my hope is that now this decision has happened, this should be, now that African American communities are sort of awoken to what the reality is, that we turn that into action. And I'm very optimistic that that is exactly what's going to happen. I think we've seen all the civil rights organizations on top of this. We've seen young people have led this movement to make this case even what it is. The reason why George Zimmerman even got tried was because young African Americans like myself, like Impact, went out there and said, we're going to fight this fight, we're going to bring attention to this. And the hope is that we can bring attention to this to the point where we can sort of shame those legislators that are okay with voting for the stand your ground law. And on top of that, as all policies are local. We need to change the state legislature.
31 states. We got to undo this. And Richard Fowler.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 866-987-THOM.
Richard's website is Fowler Show, FOWLERSHOW.com. Richard Fowler, thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much, Tom. Love it.
Great to have you with us. We'll be back.